Greetings and salutations, y'all. We are back for another episode of Jaxxonville. And I've got my homie, James Tritten, in the building from Fortlowell Records. How are you doing, sir?
I'm from Jacksonville. Did you realize that?
Oh, you really?
Yeah, Florida.
That's dope. So this was supposed to happen. All right, cool, man. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
Good, man. What's been going on with you? Tell us what's been going on, and then we'll go back to humble early beginnings.
Oh,
So
yeah.
what's been up? What's going on present day with you?
Present day, we've got a couple new records. We're already working on everything for next year for the record label.
Oh, really?
We got This Water Is Life with yours truly coming soon. That's actually the next thing coming out.
That's cool.
So that's with Fuzz Jax and Tercel. I've got some records for some friends from overseas. We've got a record from a guy, a legend from Al Fal from Tucson, Arizona. Excited about that one. That comes out in October. Speaking of legends, the first release coming into 2025, Mine's One. One's coming out. Stages. Their next. It's a double album at that.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
really cool.
We should have test pressings for that pretty soon, and that what that means is that whenever you catch us out in Wilmington DJing, you can always count on we have the tests with us. We start dropping those tracks in advance. So.
Right.
So yeah, so we got all of that stuff happening.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, I've heard that Mine's One record already, and it's incredible. So make sure you guys get that when it comes out. So that's cool. So you got a full plate.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this: what got you motivated into helping other artists like just put their music out? Because in my eye, what you're doing, which I think is brilliant, how you're just connecting with different artists from different genres and just dropping whether it's like brand new stuff or old stuff that they have out just redone, remastered. Like, so what motivates you into helping the artists from every genre? Like,
it's actually really simple. It's twofold. There's two answers to it. For one, my wife and I have been musicians for over 30 years, and in a big chunk of that time, she as an artist, her stage name being Tracy Shedd. It's her maiden name. But we use it as a stage name as well.
Right.
So Tracy Shedd has had music out on a record label called Teen Beat, which is a label out of DC. Started in the mid '80s. It really started alongside the label Discord. Like a lot of people know DC, they think of Discord Records, Fugazi, Minor Threat, stuff like that.
Right.
So right alongside that, literally Teen Beat was growing up doing the same thing, except for from an indie pop point of view versus a punk rock point of view, right?
Gotcha.
And so. We when we moved to Boston, Massachusetts, we're from Jacksonville, Florida, as I said. We moved to Boston, Massachusetts in 1998, and in '99, Mark Robinson, who runs Teen Beat, just coincidentally moved from Washington D.C. to Boston, and just happened to move into the exact building we moved into. We knew who Mark Robinson was. We were huge fans of his,
right?
And we never approached the idea of like trying to do business with him. We just respected the fact that, hey, here's an artist that we've been following for years. He lives in our building, and we all simply became great friends. And he extended the opportunity to say like, hey, Tracy, you've got a new record that you're recording. Can I help you? And just our experience with Mark, not just Mark, because there were other labels we've worked with over time, but as musicians and all the experiences that we always had from labels that would just help us, and always from a point of view of just being a friend.
Right.
It's kind of an interesting thing. I've been a booking agent for musicians. There was from about 97, 98 to about 2004, I ran a booking agency where I helped, I think at max, I think I had about 30 different artists that were doing national tours, and I was booking those actually. And I remember doing that. I remember people always asking me like, how do I get on your roster to be a touring band so you could help me book our tours? And at the end of the day, the reality was like I was always just helping my friends. It was just my friends that was like I just wanted to see them get out across the world like I was with my band. And so a lot of those artists that I was working with, they were all on different labels, and so I was getting a lot of exposure to different musicians working with different labels, and in every single case, it was always the same story, no matter how big the artist was that I might have been working with, and that includes an artist on Sub Pop Records.
Gotcha.
In every single case, every artist always said, "Oh, I just know the owner. They're just my friend, and they're just helping me."
Right.
And it was just really insightful because that was definitely our experience. And then so fast forward to now, answering this question of like, why do we do this? It's a matter of that. I seem to be one of those. I was always the guy in the band that just did the business stuff.
Right.
I just every band's got one. I was that guy. Every band
Right.
has one guy that he's actually the guy making the flyers and going out and doing all this stuff.
Right.
So I've always been that guy. I've always been the guy to gravitate to doing the business side of things. And so I just saw it as that, okay, I've built up this wealth of knowledge and understanding of the industry and how things work. I can easily use this as an opportunity to repay the favors that have been given to me throughout the decades. That for myself and Tracy as an artist, all the support we've been given, we just saw an opportunity that there's a lot of great bands that we are friends with that were not receiving the same kind of support we were receiving. And so we were like, well, we can do it. Like, we'll start, putting it out their records and start helping them out. So that's answer number one is the reality is we work with people that we love genuinely on a friendship point of view, people we have, just absolute respect for and in turn, return that respect. I mean, we it's reciprocated. It's a true friendship.
Yeah.
That's honestly it. That's the gist of it. I have a lot of artists that ask me, like, how do I get on your label? And it's like, well, do I know you?
Right.
If I don't know you, it's kind of like, oh, this is an uphill battle. Like,
right.
Why don't you come hang out for a while and we get to know each other?
Right.
But so the other side of it is really sort of silly. That's answer number one. Answer number two is that I collect vinyl records. My wife and I both collect vinyl records. When we came together romantically, we brought in two different collections, and it's just amassed quite a bit since. So I'm very selfish about what I release. It's like I'm shopping at a record store.
Right.
When I'm hearing new music, it's just, do I want this on my shelf?
Mm.
I really go into every project not caring if I even sell one record. I'm buying this record for me to put on the shelf because I think this is an awesome release. And that's an important part too with kind of how we do what we do. We have to be like a freak fan, like to put the energy and the time and to take away from our own personal life, to dedicate and give to other people and to help them with their art. Like I have to be. If I'm not, it's not going to work.
Right.
So that's the other part, which is kind of fun. Is I love these recordings. Friends share with me, and I'm like, ooh, we gotta get this on record.
Right.
Let's put it out. And so I get one on my shelf. They get one on their shelf, and hey, if we sell anything more beyond that, then we're winning. Right?
Good. Yeah. Exactly. That's cool, man. Because I can definitely tell it's more of a lot of the artists that you support, you do have a great rapport and great friendship with, and even when I watch you talk to other people that you have helped out and put out their music, it's always more of like a family type versus hey, I'm putting your music out, blah blah blah, that's it, when can you give me this, when can you give me that. It's always like a lot of love, and when I speak to other artists that have worked with you, it's never anything negative. It's always, man, I love what they're doing. I love James. I love James. So it's really dope, man. And the fact that you're not even from the Port City and you guys show the Port City so much love is just very, very dope. And I salute you guys for that. So, I mean, you guys have done a lot for the city of Wilmington, for the music scene, not just with, you guys putting out material. And the great thing is that you put out like old material that you just feel like people should hear on vinyl. Mm-hmm. It's not like when can you give me the latest thing or that, whatever. This is really dope, even though it's been out for years. I like it. I think people should hear it on wax. I think that's really dope. But not only what you're doing with the label and everything and with the vinyl, the DJing. So let's slide into that.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, because you guys kind of just came out of nowhere with the whole with what you guys DJing and how you do it. So kind of elaborate with everybody on that.
Yeah. So it dates back to the early 90s and growing up in Jacksonville, Florida. This is a really important part of the whole story. There was in Jacksonville Beach. There was a club called Einstein and Go-Go.
Okay.
And it opened in the '80s. And if you can just imagine that kind of period of time, back in the '80s, when bands like Echo and the Bunnymen or The Cure were literally dropping their first records coming out, these kids in the '80s in Jacksonville, Florida, at the beach, were listening to that and dancing to that stuff. I mean, it was like a real thing. It was the Faircloth family. Terry and Tammy were the daughters, and forgive me, I can't remember the parents' names, but the family owned it, and it was this great little bar. It was like a dive bar, but there was no alcohol. It was an all-age bar, no alcohol. They just had like coffee drinks and things like that, but it was a full-on like punk rock, goth / post-punk, underground club that just fostered so much growth in a town that traditionally isn't really known for that kind of stuff. Jacksonville, Florida is not exactly seen as a culture mecca. It was a great place growing up, and this was a big part of it. So for Tracy and I was born in '75, she's '74. Us growing up, for us, the exposure came into the '90s. Not so much. My brother was going in the '80s. I remember my brother skipping. I remember him literally like going out the bedroom window.
Right.
And he's like, where are you going? Going to Einstein's. Like, go tell mom. Right. That was my older brother. But then, so the '90s came. We're coming to age now, and I didn't know Tracy at first when she was going. We kind of were going separately. We met later. But I was 13, 14, 15. I mean, imagine this now, like that early of a teenager, and you're going out on a Friday night to a club to go dancing.
Right.
And at that time, I mean, you were hearing brand new records from Mudhoney, Ride. I mean, I remember like all the shoegaze stuff that was coming out. We were hearing it firsthand.
Right.
Like at a dance club. Like, so you're dancing to this kind of music.
Yeah, that is exactly very rare. Yeah.
Very rare. So this is our upbringing. This is what Tracy and I grew up with. We were married in 2000, so we've been married 24 years now, and I think it was around 2000, 2001. I remember there being conversations in our marriage where she started talking about, like, because she DJ'd a few times at Einstein's back in the day. I think she dated a couple of the like one or two of the DJs, and so they bring her up as a girlfriend, the kind of thing. And I do remember that. I remember seeing her DJ there. So I remember her talking about like, hey, I want to get a DJ rig one day, and so we've been talking about being DJs since
back then.
Since literally 2000, 2001. When we started the record label in Tucson, Arizona, it was 2009 when we started it. We were living in Tucson from 2007 to 13. 2009, we started the record label. And a friend of ours, Allie, she was a local DJ called the Vinyl Baron, and she did some really fun stuff. She always DJ'd 45s too. It was really cool. And so whenever we would start doing like our record release parties or any kind of event for the label, we would invite Allie to be like the Vinyl Baron, like as a DJ for our events. And I think there might have been one that she couldn't do. And so Tracy agreed, like, I'll fill in. We'll just bring from our record collection. And our record collection definitely had grown from that point. I mean, I've been aggressively collecting records since about 91, 92. Probably 92 is when I really started getting into collect. Like, I'm going to buy records to collect them and keep them, kind of thing, right? So we had a good collection. Tracy starts DJing a little bit in Tucson. Then in 2013, we moved to Carborough. I took a job as the general manager at the Cat's Cradle, and our friends Amanda and JB, who owned the Bow Bar, they would invite us to come do, like, I think we were doing like 7-inch Sunday DJ nights at the Bow Bar. So JB already had the 1200s there and everything, so we just had to show up with the wax, which was perfect. So we were doing a couple of things there, like in those two towns, Tucson and Carborough, but not like to the degree, to your point, that we're doing now. So fast forward to moving here now. It was the year of COVID, but it was pre-COVID. It was in that January, so that was 2020, I guess it was. My friend Matt Emmerich, he at the time, he's in Neon Belly, which is one of our bands. At the time, he was the manager at Wilmington, which is right there on Grace, and that's right where I live. And so I'd see Matt every day. I'd usually pop in just to catch up, say hi, and whatnot. Well, he was also a bartender over at the Opera Room at the time, which is now Brass Tacks. But it was just a casual conversation where I knew that he was doing like Turntable Tuesdays or something like this. And I think one night we showed up with a group of 45s and we just jumped in there and played them, you know, and I think he appreciated it because we had a really diverse mix, and we just kind of took over. And then so he had this idea where he was bartending on Mondays, and I guess Mondays were really slow.
Right.
So he was like, "Hey, I have an idea. I have some 1200s because I didn't own any." He's like, "I have some 1200s. You got obviously a great record collection." He's like, "Why don't we come together and let's do a Monday night thing?"
Mm-hmm.
And so we came up with the name Manic Monday. And so there was an official Manic Monday. There were two of them, in fact. The first one was February. That was pre-COVID. And then the second one was, I think it was the first Monday of the month. It might have been the second. I think it was the first. And so then the second one was the March one.
Mm-hmm.
And that was literally, I think, the day before, like, the world shut down. I mean, it was
Right.
like, whatever it was, it was right at the, we just got two in, February and one in March. And so we did those, and then COVID happened, of course. Now everything shuts down. Matt then got married to Lacey, his bandmate and fiance, obviously at the time. They moved away up to Carrboro area themselves, and so obviously the 1200s are going. I'm like, oh
Right.
no, like I
Right.
really want to
So,
get back
yeah.
to do this DJ thing. You got me excited. So Jared Sales locally sold me a rig, and we had the mixer and everything. And so then, we decided we didn't really want to lock ourselves into the Monday thing. So we're like, all right, we're gonna Tracy came up with the name, obviously, you know, paying homage to David Bowie, Let's Dance.
Make sure y'all go online, Fortlowell.com, and get the.
So Tracy rebranded it. We were like, that way we're not locked into a particular date. We could do this whatever.
Right.
So we started doing those, and we were always doing them at the Opera Room because again, that's the closest neighborhood bar for me.
Right.
And then on top of it, it really fit the vibe of it all.
Mm-hmm.
And so to kind of tie back to why I bring the Einstein story to play, we were going at DJing trying to almost like redo what we grew up with in Einstein. So we were doing like playing shoegaze music and a lot of post-punk music,
Right.
a lot of obscure underground stuff. In fact, that was always one of my favorite games to play with Jack Nelson. He now is the manager at Wilmington, and he also is a bartender at now Brass Tacks, but at the time, again, Opera Room. So we ended up aligning with Jack to do our DJ nights. And Jack's, man, I think I know a lot about music. Jack, he's far superior than I with the knowledge. And so I was always like a game to see like how underground could I go to like trump him, or,
Right.
you know, to like or stump him, I should say. Hey, did you know who this was? And so that was always a lot of fun. And I remember there were two particular dance nights that were really, really, really good, like packed house. Like I think we were above capacity. Like in the Opera Room was small, and I think we might have been above 100 people, and that's a lot of people in the Opera Room.
Right.
So one of them was my birthday, and then another one was Halloween. Those two particular nights, and I remember getting the bug in those nights for understanding the difference of, am I going to be a DJ that's going to be solely trying to introduce you to stuff you don't know?
Mm-hmm.
Or am I going to be the DJ that keeps you on the dance floor having a good time?
Right.
And I remember because in that night, it was like I could almost remember the songs. It was a run of like Chick, 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 Management, Modern English, New Order. It was just like all these hot indie bangers that kept literally the dance floor just packed. And
Right.
even up top where I was, packed, and everyone's dancing. It was just a good time. It was a good time, and that's kind of what got me thinking to be a different DJ, along with Tracy as well, where I now really love satisfying what people want to hear. I want
Right.
to play music people want to hear. I want to play music that will keep you dancing for 4 or 5 hours.
Right.
And so we were very fortunate that Shannon and Dusty Ricks owns Satellite. Shannon, his sister, manages it. They've also been very close friends of ours. And Shannon and Tracy and I, like and Dusty included, we all grew up in the same era, and we all really align with all the same kind of music that
Right.
we love. And Shannon quickly recognized this with what we were playing. And so she really just kind of came to us and said, "Look,
Hey.
I want you to bring this to Satellite." And so I think when people think about what we do with DJing, a lot of people see us aligned with Satellite because they've given us
Show you
this
a lot of
great
love.
Yeah, they do awesome, and they give us this great outlet. And so it was fun because at first Shannon wanted it every month, and I was really reluctant. I was like, that seems like a lot, but it
Right.
slowly started working in, and it was like after about 2 years of doing it sporadically, we finally committed to doing like, all right, we're going to do a dance night every month. And then she had this opportunity 2 years ago to she wanted to fill a Tuesday night, and she's like, what do you guys think about taking on Tuesday nights? And it was really interesting because we never really made a long-term commitment. It was just, we'll give it a shot. And then
Right. So
we just,
now
no one's ever stopped. We just keep going. In fact, come this September, it'll be 2 years that we've done that.
That's dope.
So the Tuesday nights, we call that one Let's Tuesday, just obviously as a spinoff of the Let's Dance.
Right.
Let's Dance is speaking to the idea, okay, you expect to dance. And with that, we're going to still bring in stuff like My Bloody Valentine where I can, but you're also going to get like Dua Lipa, or you're going to get Snoop Dogg from me. You're going to get a lot of stuff, a lot of different genres that you can sing along to, dance along to, of course, positive energy, good times, keep the vibe going all night. Where Tuesday nights, Let's Tuesday, as it's branded, it's not really meant to be, a dance thing. It's happened. I mean, just the vibe is right, and it just works itself
out. Yeah.
But it's really meant more to be like a vibe night, and that one we specifically split with Tracy and I. Like, she does the first half of the night, and then I do the back half. And then that one, that's where you'll almost every time I can guarantee you, I'm playing Fortlowell Records of our releases. And if I have test presses, like, yeah, they're going in. Like, I mean, as you know, we were playing Fuzz Jacks 3 weeks ago, know, and that stuff's not out till the end of September.
Right.
But if you come out on Tuesday night, you're going to be, gifted this opportunity to hear something that you're not going to be able to hear for a while out, which is cool. We'll take advantage of those nights. Like, I'll end up doing one here probably in the next week or two ahead, where I'll do a whole night of a listening party on a record. So I'll end up playing our release with Tercel. I'll end up playing that, for the majority of the whole night, just to help, people get familiar with what's coming. But even on the dance nights, like, actually, local artist here, James Tritten, we did an EP for him, I guess it was maybe about a year and a half ago, that another local indie R&B group called De La Noche, they did remixes of James's song. James's song, Colors of Your Brain, already sounded kind of like modern English style. I Melt With You. It had that vibe, right? A New Order, modern English, kind of just good 80s dance vibe. So the song on its own is a great dance song. But then De La Noche did a whole dance remix of it.
Right.
And like that, I bring almost every time I ever do a Let's Dance. And I sneak it right in there between like New Order, modern English, and people don't even realize that, oh yeah, you're dancing to a local artist right now. Right. And it's that great, and so that's kind of an extremely long-winded answer to your question. But for me, ultimately, what I recognized was that, we were doing the DJ nights selfishly to play the music we wanted to play to start. But what I realized is that I'm really doing the record label a disservice not using this as an opportunity to showcase the talent that we work with. And so that's kind of when then I realized, well, then the power to this is that if I can build trust with the audience as a DJ, if they like what we're doing and they like what we're playing, if we're playing the things that they like and we're satisfying that itch and they're like, wow, this is really great, these guys are awesome, it really helps the story when I say to them, well, then let me introduce you to Fuzz Jax's music. Because if you like this hip hop we were playing tonight,
then you're
gonna check out. You're gonna like what I'm willing to put my money into. That's kind of the way I visualize it, and it does work. I've actually had that conversation with customers, if you will, where they've said, I've been to your dance nights or I've been to your Tuesday nights, and God, you guys got awesome taste in music. All right, so what are you selling then? Because I want to learn
interested,
about it.
Yeah,
this is cool. So that's I saw that kind of on the wall a few years back, and then that to your point is where it kind of seemed like we came out of nowhere and just went, full force. Like, I'm going everywhere, every month, every chance I can. I'm going to get this out there. And it's done what I thought it would do. It was like, okay, this is working out. So now, we've become, we usually get 1 or 2 gigs a year at CAM, the Cameron Art Museum. In fact, we've got one coming up in November for them. We're actually DJing at Wilma's Women to Watch event this coming Friday. At the convention center downtown.
That's great.
So it's really cool because it's helped, think the community at large get some exposure to what we're doing as a label, which ultimately in turn is helping shed the light on artists may not have got that light shed on them. So that's been pretty cool.
And I think, this what's really cool is that it puts a spotlight, because in my opinion, you're putting out compilations. You know what I mean? Like, because you're giving the audience, 2 different genres usually with your releases. And not only that, I love from the hip-hop perspective that you're putting out it's either like a re-release or remixes but it's getting that old material out and it's giving it a brand new twist and brand new flavor, So I think that's like I said prior, that's really cool. But the great thing I think that you guys are doing is that you're turning people on to so much different types of music, past, present, and future.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And the one thing that I like about whether it's a Tuesday night or if it's the monthly thing that you guys do, there's so many types of people that are in there just enjoying it. And you guys don't have run-of-the-mill fans. Like, everybody that really rocks with you knows about what you're playing and what you're doing. So when they come and see you, they know it's not going to be surprised, and they know what to expect from you guys, and they know that it's going to be a dope time. So I feel that when I walk into your events, I'm kind of like, okay, everybody in here knows about just as much as I do. So now when we hear that one song, you just see everybody that gravitates to that, and I think that's really dope. And just want to say thanks a lot for what you guys are doing, and keep impressing us, man, with the releases and the DJing and the coming together of the music community as a whole. So I just want to give you your flowers now and just say thanks, man. We appreciate it. Yeah, and let everybody know where they can find you at and everything like that, where they can check you out at weekly, monthly.
Yeah, as I say, so Fortlowell Records is the name of the label. There is a fortlowellrecords.com that you can kind of start with. I'm funny. My website is an old Blogspot website because we started again back in 2009 is when we started, and that was kind of that was like the next level of GeoCities, right? From back in the early days.
Yeah.
But like I love that my website's still a Blogspot. I've never updated it. I'm like, no, I'm not getting anything fancy. It's so rudimentary. It's so generic. It's this running, blog basically of just releases that we put out. But anyway, so there's that. You can look it up. We use all the standard socials. Everything we do, everything we promote is just under Fortlowell Records. So you can find it on Instagram, on Facebook, Twitter, X, however you want to call it, all that good stuff. And then we're pretty much like locally, if anyone's out and about, pretty much all the record stores carry our releases. And then we're usually, again, back to Satellite, again, tons of love from them. They do a monthly second Sunday market. Mm-hmm. And so we're always there with the market selling records. And that's actually really cool. Whenever we have releases coming out, like with Minds One, for example, it doesn't come out till February of next year, but I'll probably see those vinyl in my hand sometime this season, maybe before the holidays. And sure enough, if you catch me at that holiday market, I'm not waiting till February to sell those records. So you can start getting them early, which is cool. So I always like that. It's kind of a fun thing. If you're local, like, we give you that extra treatment that you can actually get stuff before it was ever, being released anywhere else, which is fun. So, but cool. So we're always there selling records as well. So, yeah. That's
what's up. And Sandspur
that was a summer thing. So I appreciate it, but that did just conclude. So that was the summer thing we did, which was fun as well. So,
but we will be there this week.
That's right. Yeah, I didn't know when this is airing.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're live. We're live. This is coming out like the next day or so.
Yeah, so that's right. This coming Saturday, Tracy Shedd and Fuzz Jax live concert at Sandspur.
Make sure y'all check that out. But man, thanks a lot so much for being here, man. I appreciate you, man. Make sure you guys support the movement, support everything he's doing, and that's it. Thank you so much. We are gone, Ghost. See you later. Welcome to Jacksonville. Goodbye.